The following program is being presented to you by a community producer. The statements, views, and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of ALC TV or the City of Avon Lake.
A flower blooms, there's beauty there, clouds fly by, and bird song fills the air, sweet things are coming, and everybody's feeling grand.
Hi everybody, I'm back with you again for a brand new season, and I'm so happy to be back. It's just, I never thought I'd miss this place so much, and all the talented individuals that come and perform for you, and the staff that works here so hard and tries to keep my shows in line and things going well. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. I know I did, and now I'm back to work and ready to go. Today I've got a fantastic band to start off my season with for you. They're called the Nocturnes, and they do blues, they do rock. They are just phenomenal. They're really, really great, and I hope you enjoy them. They're gonna play some songs for you, and after that I'm going to interview them, and you're gonna find out the different quirky personalities of all these different individuals, and that should be fun. So in the meantime, let it rock. Guys, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. I wish I could have jammed with you all, but my voice went south a while ago. So
It'll come back.
I hope so, because
it's a
that's my
guaranteed
bread and
fact.
butter. You know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's got to come back. But that was really good. Now tell me, each of you introduce yourselves.
I'm Jim Justine, the drummer.
I wasn't sure you knew for a minute.
I got my notes.
Either.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you?
Ed Pauli, bass.
Okay.
Sandy, rhythm guitar.
Okay.
And I'm Michael on lead and rhythm and bass.
Oh, you're
vocals.
one of the multi-talented
Well, I
ones.
do a little bit of rhythm too, once in a while.
Oh, you sing also, right? I've heard you do something like that.
He tries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sometimes
I guess that's
and
what
you
you want to
too.
call it. Yeah.
You know, I've heard both of you sing, so you do vocals as well. You know, so, but it takes that to make a good group. It takes people who are versatile. Now, how long have you guys been together?
We've actually been together roughly about, was it 9 years now, Jimmy?
I think that's close.
9 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Well,
a good
three
track
of us have
record.
been together for about 9 years. Ed's been with us for about 2 years now, I think.
2 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're
And
a
he was with
newcomer.
us- Oh,
You're the
he was
newbie.
with us before, and then due to circumstances, he had to leave the band, and then we came back.
Oh, well, as long as he came back.
I was actually with another band a few years ago too. So.
Oh, well, we
That's
won't
why
talk
he-
about
We'll talk about
that
those guys,
band.
though.
We won't talk about, and I can see now why he hesitated, because he didn't want to talk about that band, because evidently that was not a pleasant subject.
No.
So
No,
we won't go into that.
Sandy and I have been playing together for almost 30 years.
Actually, over 30 years now.
Yeah.
Try 34 to be exact.
And
Well, who's
although
counting?
she's
That's
not on
true.
camera, your wife performs with you guys sometime as well, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
She does, you know. I mean, we can't leave the ladies out.
No.
She's not on camera today, but we can't leave her out. So, tell us what kind of music you do most.
We don't know.
Truthfully, he's stating the
Help
truth.
me
We don't
here,
know
okay?
because we play a lot of instrumental music
We're
and we play country music,
rock and roll,
bluegrass,
bluegrass.
rock and roll, the old rock and roll from
The
Buddy
real
Holly.
rock and roll
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
from Chuck Berry and
Well, that'll be the day
Buddy Holly,
when you
Rick-
say
Yeah.
goodbye, yes.
yeah,
Ricky Nelson.
the
Ricky
real
Nelson.
Who is there anybody who's
Elvis.
doing rock and roll now?
Yes, there's a guy by the name of J.D. McPherson. He's a fairly new artist that is. He was on Conan O'Brien's show about
Okay.
a month or so ago. He does kind of like a mixture of rock and rockabilly, but it's all like in that Chuck Berry style, that Chicago blues
Yeah,
style.
yeah. I love that. The first time, excuse me, I have to get a drink of water.
No problem.
I was out of commission, but I'm fine now.
Good.
The doctor
Glad to
said
have you back.
I'm not contagious anymore. I'm just sounding a little strange sometimes. But I have to
Sound
tell
more normal than the bass player.
they stay on your case, don't
Oh
they?
yeah, well hey, you know, as I say, but I
He's
don't
on
get
our
mad,
case
I get
just as
even.
much.
I get even, trust me.
The first time I heard Chuck Berry, I think I was about 3 or 4 years old. And it was in Cleveland at the Keith Theater on 105th Street, which is gone now. I mean, everything I grew up with has been torn down and leveled and built over, you know. But, and I couldn't see him. So I had to stand up in the seat to see him perform at the theater that night. And I was jamming so until they had to catch me because I almost came out of that seat, you know. So, I mean, music has been just the world to me all of my entire life. And it's good to see groups like yours that are doing real music and making that wonderful sound that I grew up with. And you're not making it with a machine. You know, that makes
only way to make it.
Yeah, that makes a tremendous difference. Tell me about some of the venues that you've played.
one of the main venues that we played, unfortunately our bass player wasn't back with us at the time. We did a gig down in Charleston, West Virginia for the Vietnam Veterans Commemorative Memorial.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
Right on the Capitol grounds. And we had Rolling Thunder bless us with their presence at Chapter 1, I mean. We've had countless veterans show up, and
that had to be really moving.
matter of fact, it was actually
one of the
Congressional Medal of Honor winners that Woody was being honored there.
Really?
Yes.
there were
That's
two
wonderful.
Congressional Medal of Honor recipients
Recipients.
there. One was from Korea and the other was from Vietnam.
Oh my God.
and if I'm not mistaken, one of the wasn't it the governor of Charleston, West Virginia, was one of the recipients?
No,
No?
Mm-mm.
Well,
He
at
was
least he
in.
was governor.
but he was the
That
governor.
sounds terrible.
The governor was there to welcome.
Sorry, Governor.
Sorry, guys, I fly by the seat of my pants. Whatever comes
The
up.
governor
you
was
know.
there to honor the Medal of Honor
No
recipients.
disrespect to the governor. I'm sure he's a great governor, but
Well,
you know, you can't
he
do
was
everything.
also in Vietnam during that time,
Really?
from what I understand and remember.
I think everybody who
But he
served in
saluted.
Vietnam should have all kinds of accolades and should be given all kinds of privileges because in the first place, they shouldn't have been there, you know. And that's just my opinion. But
Well, I agree that anybody that's ever served in any of the
in
branches,
any war,
right.
in any war, in any branch of the service, we should bend over backwards for, because they deserve that. You know, anybody that goes out and puts their life on the line for this country deserves everything that we can do for them. And I'm happy, a little bit happy now, because the government's starting to do more for veterans and disabled veterans, and recognizing the things that are wrong when these people get back, and trying to help with that, because we were falling down on the job, you know,
Well,
and we need to do better.
There's two military veterans here today.
Oh, really?
Yes. My
Well,
wife is 20 years active duty Navy,
That's right.
and I have 8 years of Air Force.
Oh my goodness. You know what? This isn't something I generally do, but I got to do it. Can you come over here for a minute? I just wanted to make sure that my audience gets to see you, because here, just sit down. You can sit down on the thing. Okay.
Careful of the cord.
on the cord.
My audience gets to see you, because, honey, we're looking at a woman who spent 20 years in the Navy. And that's a heck of a lot to give up. Trust me. I don't know if I could do it. They'd probably throw me out before then, you know. But
No, they'll stick you in the USO tour.
really, they'd probably kick me out before then. But I just want to make sure that you get to see and you get to know the fact that people serving in the service are people who have other lives, who know how to do other things, who are talented individuals, and they give all that up to serve this country, you know. And like he said, we've got 2 veterans here today, Air Force and Navy, you know. So I'm proud to be sitting on the same stage with them.
Thank you.
Now
proud to
we'll
be
get
here.
back to to these different venues, and what other venues do you do? I mean, like.
We do have some annual venues that we play for every year.
We do one that's the Irish. It's called the Irish All Stars, I think it is, or West Side Irish All
Special
Stars.
Stars.
Now, is that something you've got coming
Special
up,
Stars
or
benefit. That
That'll
comes up
be
in
September.
that'll actually be the
Last-
first week of October.
first week of October?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any? And I know that you've
also-
done more than just 1 or 2 venues. I mean, somebody give me something here.
We've opened for Eddie and the Edsels several times.
Yeah. I actually sang with them once.
I know I was there.
Excuse me, were you there? Oh my
Bass
God.
Bar and Grill.
Yeah. Oh, it sure was. You know, my memory's not that good. You know.
One venue we did have was at the Beachland Tavern. We actually opened for a
Deke
national
Dickerson.
Deke Dickerson and the Echophonics.
Oh, wonderful.
Rockabilly artist.
Yeah, that's great. So, what have you got coming up?
Well, at the moment, we've
North Royalton Home Days is coming up in August.
We also have a pig roast party that we're going to be doing in June.
Now, where's that going to be?
That's going to be at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds.
The Old Barn Pavilion.
Aha.
And you are invited.
Have I?
Yes, ma'am.
All you have to bring is your appetite.
Oh,
Plenty
at a
of food.
pig roast, my appetite is always with me. Trust me.
Excellent.
And anybody says anything to you, just tell them you're with the band.
I love it. I love it. You know, because over the years, I think I've been a little bit spoiled, just a teeny bit, you know, because I've had all access to so many events for so many years now until you don't want to be with the other folks. You know?
You know how that goes.
Yeah, because you don't get to do all the things that you get to do. And you know, you get old and you form habits, and I've just formed some habits.
We've all formed
You're not
habits.
old.
Most of them bad.
All of them have.
You're stylish.
Oh well, you know.
There you go.
I'll take that. I'll
We were
accept.
I don't
talking
see
earlier
any white
about
on your head. That
Well, there's a little bit, but that's not what we're here for. So stop analyzing my head. We're here to talk about music and anything else that comes up. Actually,
earlier we were talking about the different artists that we've known, associated with. And I will continue with the story of what happened with him.
Okay.
Dottie West had tried to take off with him. He was only about yay big.
Oh my God.
she must have thought I'd have been worth something someday.
And one of the
Oh, too
artists,
portable.
one of the artists that we do his music walked over and says, "I don't think so," and took him out of Dottie West's arms and put him back in his mother's arms. The
Dottie
man
West was walking away with him.
Yep.
She was wanting
Wonder
to.
what your life would have been like growing up in Dottie West's house.
Truthfully, I really don't know, but I have heard that if you move one grain of sand, you can actually change the course
world.
of history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I had actually been abducted, so to speak, no offense, I wouldn't know any of these guys, most likely.
You wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
So what happened after they got him back?
The person that took him out of Dottie West's arms is one of the people that we do his music.
Oh, really?
It was Willie Nelson.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's just
And
amazing.
What got me started playing guitar was, I think, about 4 different people. Les Paul,
Mm-hmm. Everybody
Chet
knows about
Atkins.
Les Paul. Yeah, and Chet Atkins.
Roy Clark,
And Roy Clark. He was one of my favorites, my absolute favorites.
and
He
the
fit
last
with
one,
us
a lot
great.
of people don't recognize the name. They don't put the name of the person with the group that he was with, but he also played country music, and he played music with Buck Owens.
Who's that?
Noel Edwards, also known as Noki Edwards, the lead guitarist of the Ventures.
I'll be darned. You know, my daughter did
Those
Farm
4.
Aid with Willie Nelson.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And she used to go around telling everybody that I made them listen to Hee Haw.
Nothing wrong with Hee Haw.
Oh, I tell you what, that was a good.
I loved Hee Haw.
So did I.
The music was just, I love
It
country
was.
music. I mean, people come in my house and they say, "What are you playing?" And it's country music.
Well, he's
you
in
know.
country music too. You know, of course, there's the new country, which everybody jumps on the bandwagon. But I grew up. My grandfather had all these old '78s. You know, Ernest Tubb. You know, Hank Williams Sr., Jimmy Rogers, the singing brakeman, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. I mean, the old '78 country. And then my mother was a big fan of Marty Robbins and singers like that, you know, Eddie Arnold.
See, in my house when I was growing up, there was gospel,
Mine too.
and there was Big Mama Thornton.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
the
There
original
was
Hound
Little
Dog.
Richard.
Mhm.
There was Muddy Waters.
Oh yeah.
And because my parents were from Mississippi, and they brought the blues with them.
Exactly.
So
It's good music.
I was singing the blues when I was 3 or 4, you know, and gospel.
And
you know.
gospel.
Yeah, I was. But it's amazing. Now, is there any place that you're going to be soon that you want everybody to know about?
Right off the
And
top of my head,
come
I
and
don't
see
have
you?
a calendar with me that I could tell you where.
Why did you not come here with a calendar?
Because I never carry a calendar.
Now, some of us, on,
Closest one we've got coming up right now is going to be the pig roast.
yeah.
The pig roast. Okay. Well, I will.
Which will be
Please,
middle of
please
June.
contact me and remind me about the pig roast.
Oh, we will.
Because I don't want to miss the pig roast,
No.
and I don't want to miss spending a day with you guys because that's gotta be a hoot.
It is.
We've been coined as the rock and roll version of the Statler Brothers. And
Oh, my God.
The Statler Brothers were goofy on stage,
Yeah.
especially Harold,
Oh yeah.
We're goofy.
who
also.
could never tell you who he was at any moment of a given day.
Excuse me.
No disrespect, great man.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it's so many.
great group.
There's been so many movie greats, and we lost so many last year and the years before.
It was, yeah.
That it's been amazing, and we're losing a lot of the kind of younger people that are.
Well,
We
you know,
are.
like
They're
the
out
tragic death of Minnie McCready, for example, which was something that was, in, of course, last year Whitney Houston. You know,
Oh,
they
God,
both
yeah.
had very troubled
You know.
lives,
And who expected Michael Jackson to
Yeah.
be gone?
But, the,
You know.
but there and again, there was Davy Jones, who expected, you know,
Yeah.
his picture of health, and all of a sudden he's gone.
And then there were accidents that happened with.
Yeah. Mike Smith, the Dave Clark fight, was in an automobile accident.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
That was a real
Oh
tragedy.
God, he was such a treasure. He was.
And either
and
Lenny
I have to interject a
Denny.
little bit. He was laid up for a long time, incapacitated, and my daughter, along with some other people, did a concert for him, and everything that they raised at that concert went to him.
I'll have to say that I want to tell you this on camera. Your daughter is a phenomenal talent, and when her album came out in 1988, and I met you 25 years ago, I was working downtown as part of the Record Revolution, and her album was out, and we played that thing constantly. I mean, we put it on,
Every time I
automatic
walked over
replay.
there, it was
It was going.
playing. Yeah.
And I remember you coming into the store and buying out every single copy of Rolling Stone magazine that you could find.
I did.
And we stacked this big, and we.
Well, it was a new thing for me, and I was a proud mom anyway. I've always been proud of my children, and that just cemented things. I mean, it was just every time I walked over there and heard that music, I was walking on air, and I'm very proud of the things that she's done, like performing for the Hungry in Washington, and she just did the Kennedy Center Honors. For oh gosh, see, my memory's not worth anything, but she and Bonnie Raitt and Grace Slick and Bonnie Raitt and Grace Slick performed for the Kennedy Center Honors, and it was aired here the day after Christmas. Buddy Guy.
Oh, Buddy Guy.
Oh,
my favorite.
Yeah,
Blues
they
guys.
did.
Yeah.
They performed with Buddy Guy and did the Kennedy Center Honors. So I'm just real proud. I'm real pleased at what she does and what she's doing, and the fact that she keeps on doing.
You have to be proud of your children.
Yeah, you know what? 2 out of 2. I got 2 out of 2. That's phenomenal. 2 kids did great. That's just wonderful.
Well, that's how they were raised, too.
Yeah,
That's how
there
they
you
were
go.
raised.
It was trial and error, but I stumbled through. Now I'm raising me.
My son in Maryland has Willie Nelson on his Facebook. page.
Wonderful.
And they talked back and forth. And he told Willie Nelson that we were doing his music.
Mm-hmm.
And he told him the story about this one and Dottie West.
Oh my goodness.
And Willie Nelson said, the man has my permission to use my music anytime he wants.
That's wonderful.
You tell him to play on.
Yeah. There's, you know what, there's a lot of people who are like that. You know, Nona Kendricks did a song called Through the Wire some years ago. And I won't even go into the semantics of it, but it was for a very good reason. And I contacted her to see if I could do that song. And I had to call her manager in England to do that, you know. But I talked to her, and she said, I talked to Nona, and she said, do it anytime you want to, you know. I mean, it was just that cool. It was Patti LaBelle and the Drells, Nona Kendricks, Patti LaBelle, and the other one, and she'll kill me because she knows I should know her name. The little short one.
We promise not to air it.
but you know, there's some wonderful people out there.
There are.
Yeah. And now
Majority of the good celebrities that are out there, or excuse me, the musicians. I stand corrected. Celebrities encompasses too big a
celebrities are
field.
different than musicians. Right.
The good musicians will go ahead and give you permission to do just that. The bad ones, well, they do the music anyway.
Yeah, and we, you know, unfortunately, I think all of us have met some of those. You know.
Yeah.
But we've all have met. Each of us have met musicians. I was a very close friend of Gordon Waller from Peter and Gordon, and they were, of course, from the British invasion. And he passed away a couple of weeks after Michael Jackson, and his death wasn't really publicized that much. But I remember I'd go to see my friends out in California, and he'd be out there, and we'd be just playing our guitars and singing the Everly Brothers tunes, and you know, just having a ball.
I'll never forget having an opportunity to perform with Bonnie Raitt. I mean, that just blew me away. You know, she is so fantastic.
I think they're all just people too.
She is just really. We didn't even know each other. When we saw each other, we both started screaming and we ran over and started hugging. You know, to show you that we're both nuts. But that's what happened. You know. But I'm gonna stop this right at this point, and you guys can just stay put, because I want to dedicate a part of my show to Black History Month, which is something that's very dear to my heart, and that should be evident to everybody. I take great pride in the fact that we have Black History Month, because I can remember when I was a child going to the libraries, and when I was a child in school, we weren't in the history books. We were just totally overlooked. Nothing was there. And I remember taking my children to the library to look up African American history, and the librarian told me to go to the fiction section. I might find something there. But times have changed, thank God, and people have changed. My grandfather was born just at the end of slavery. He was born in 1868 in Mississippi. And my father was born in 1909 in Mississippi. And that wasn't such a long time ago. Now, if you think I'm going to tell you when I was born, you're out of your minds. Because
Yesterday.
Because I'm not going to share that information with you. But all those things were not too long ago. There's a book out that I think a lot of people should probably read. It's called Mothers of Other Sons, and it talks about the era after the Civil War and after the Emancipation Proclamation. And I was on the internet the other day, and I have to tell you this. I read my news from the internet because I hate having a lot of newspaper around. And I ran across this news article, and it said, after oversight, Mississippi ratifies 13th Amendment abolishing slavery almost 150 years after its adoption. And I was floored.
I heard that too.
Yes,
I heard that.
I was floored, and I was really interested because my family is from Mississippi. So that means that when my grandfather and my great-grandfather and my father and my mother were all born in Mississippi, the 13th Amendment in Mississippi had not been ratified. That's a scary proposition.
That is.
And I used to talk with my dad about, he used to talk to me a lot of times about different things that happened when he was growing up and the reason that he came north. My dad arrived in the North in the 20s and arrived in Ohio in the late 30s, and went to work to support his family, and at the time I wasn't born then, so I'm not that old. I wasn't born then, so but still there were children ahead of me. I'm the youngest of 7 children, and my father had to try and purchase a house to live in. And unfortunately, at that time in Cleveland, Ohio, banks were not giving mortgages to people of color. So he wasn't able to purchase a house with a regular mortgage, but he found someone who was willing to sell him one. And he bought it on a land contract. And the person was trusting enough that he would put the money aside, because they moved to another state, every month for them. And he paid that house off. When I was born, by the time I was born, that house was paid for, had been paid for. And I'm very proud of him. And he's a part of my African American history. And I wanted people to know that. He told me stories about different things that happened. Some of them were not that nice. Some of them were slightly different. And there was a man named Jim that he told me about. And I'm a poet. I write books of poetry. I guess everybody knows that now. And I write songs. And I wrote a poem about the man named Jim and incorporated the story that my dad told me. And I intend to do it for you now. And hopefully you can appreciate it and understand that we are a resilient, a talented people, a hard-working people. We've come this far through all kinds of adversities, and we deal with adversities every day. But we are here, and we persevere. So, and that has been with the help of so many people of various nationalities. But we're still working, folks. So we're still on the case. The name of this poem is Jim. You know, Jim and his family lived on old Massa Hackman's place over near the Georgia state line. Hackman said he would free Jim one day, but Jim knew the old man was lying. When Jim was a boy not so long ago, he heard him promise freedom to another man, and when the slave tried to leave, Hackman crippled one foot and cut 2 fingers off one hand. Hackman said, "Remember, you're the darky, and I'm the man." Jim hoped one day he could get away, but he wouldn't want to leave and let his family stay. You see, he loved his woman. She was gentle and wise, and he knew she loved him. He could see it in her eyes. When they had the baby, he was both happy and sad because he didn't want the child to have a life like the one he had. Jim promised Hackman he would give him his all if he didn't take away his woman and his child. Jim had to promise, too, that he would never run away, but after all, what would you expect Jim to say? Jim overheard some talk about a war being fought between the southern and the northern states. The grapevine said they would all be free if they could only wait. Somebody said there was a man called Lincoln who was president, who said he would save his union at all costs, this union at all costs, and that's just what he meant. This war wasn't about right or wrong nor freedom for a slave. It was about a union that Lincoln wanted desperately to save. It was about cotton being sold across the sea, about the South getting richer while the North got for lack of trade, grew poorer and weak. It was about folks who felt a kinship to an English king. Who ever heard of such a thing? Jim was strong. His back was broad, stood about 10 hands high. He could plow a field or break a horse or tell when to plant and why. Some things he'd learned as a child and some came naturally. But Jim knew deep down in his heart this man would never set him free. The war, it came. The fields were burned and Jim and his family got away. This was the day that in the future Jim would call his Freedom Day. They ran until they could run no more, then rested and ran again, living off what food they could find along the way on the land. He remembers crossing a river. They were cold and wet. Most died, but he found kind hearts and a helping hand once on the other side. Jim's an old man now. He sits in his rocking chair, remembers and tells the story of his grandchildren for his grandchildren to hear. He talks about the land where he was forced to live and about the service he was forced to give. He tries to leave out the brutality, the beatings, and the misery. No shoes to cover cold bare feet, very little food to eat, working from dawn's early light and by starshine and moon at night, sleeping on a bed of straw on damp and muddy floors, living in huts made of scraps of wood with a small fire for warmth, a blanket given once a year that had been used by a horse. These were some of the minor things, 'cause most times it was worse. He speaks of changes since back then when men could own other men and how it feels to be free. But he said, I still look over my shoulder so I can see if they'll ever be coming after me. He said, freedom is a thing you have to guard and take care of, you see. There is a cost for all good things, and freedom will always cost you and me. We all keep on paying the price for every new generation, but don't ever let somebody tell you, oh, don't worry, just be patient. Guard your rights and hold on. Many paid the cost of blood and tears, of women crying and babies dying for a lot of long and bitter years. He said, my time is almost gone. I won't be around always, but I'd like to think when I've gone on, you will have better days. I thank you. God bless all of you. And I hope you enjoyed the program. And I will see you next month with maybe not as spectacular a group as this. But maybe I will. Oh. In the meantime, take care, and I love you all. Bye now.
She passed me by one sunny day, flashed the big round eyes my way, and I wanted you forevermore. I'm not one that gets around, where my feet stuck to the ground. Oh, I never did meet you before. I said hello, Mary, goodbye, heart, sweet Mary.
flower blooms, there's beauty there. Clouds fly by, and bird song fills the air. Sweet things are coming, and everybody's feeling grand.
The preceding program was presented to you by a community producer. The statements, views, and opinions expressed were not necessarily those of ALC TV or the City of Avon Lake.